weight. His face looked drawn. Am I wrong about that? He didn't look great.
No, he hasn't looked great, and he has been out of the public eye for a month here and a month there. We don't know exactly what was going on. He could have been under treatment. The other thing that could have occurred is that his hero is Mao Zedong, and Mao used to do that as well, to disappear for weeks at a time. And he did that because he wanted to see what would happen in his absence, to see who might come out against him. So there could be a number of reasons for it, but Xi Jinping is rumored to be in for health. And you can imagine it because you can see it from his face and from his body.
Now, last time we spoke, he was sort of taking out the top military and intel people, people who were supposedly close to him. How's that sorted out, if it's sorted out at all?
The purges are intensifying. Two former defense ministers who Xi Jinping appointed were recently handed death sentences, which would be commuted to life in prison if they good behavior for 2 years. And it shows you that once purges start, they're very hard to stop. This is what we learned during the Stalinist period, and we're seeing it again in China. Xi Jinping, people said, and you see headlines on this all the time, that whenever he removes a senior military officer, they say that Xi is in absolute control of the Chinese military. Well, that can't be right, Mark. And the reason is that once Xi Jinping removes people, it means he hasn't controlled the institution. Because if he did, he wouldn't need to remove people. And it shows that despite his power to remove generals and admirals, the institution doesn't change. And so we see the disarray at the top of the Chinese military. And let's say over the last couple of years, it's been intensifying. And that means that there's no end in sight, at least at this moment. Give you an example of how bad this is. The People's Liberation Army is controlled by the Communist Party's Central Military Commission, which normally has 7 people on it. Now it has only 2 after all the purges. And those 2 are Xi Jinping himself, who's not a military officer, and a general who is a political commissar. In other words, someone who does not have operational responsibility.
Yeah,
so we see a Chinese military that, although it has some really great weapons and is certainly very large, doesn't have the ability to launch major operations against, for instance, the main island of Taiwan, because there are no senior generals and admirals.
It's one thing after another today. So I just ate dinner. And
let me ask you this. Well, we're going to take a short break. I'd like to carry over and shoot more questions for you. And we'll talk to Gordon Chen, Gatestone Institute Senior Fellow, good friend of the program as well.
How you doing, bud?
Has Taiwan or Formosa ever been part of mainland China? And on what basis does it claim that it ought to be? We'll be right back. Ooh.
Ask yourself this question: is it really worth?
Yeah, I get it, brother. I get it. I wanted to leave here by 1 o'clock today, and it's almost 9 o'clock, or it's 8:30. So I get it.
There's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options to cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-848-1331. That's 800-848-1331. 800-848-1331.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our...
Oh, no, I got a steak. I ain't good. No. I ate well because how bad it was.
Maybe this is you
So there's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing.
All right, pretty good,
Families
actually,
in the last
brother.
20 years have almost tripled, and it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives, and MediShare is proven you can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more.
No, it was actually a good meal too. I had a good conversation.
Is the gold standard. It's trusted.
It's the owner here.
Helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 844-57-BIBLE. That's 844-57-BIBLE. 844-57-BIBLE. And text me 64,000. You will receive recurring automated marketing messages from the host. Messaging gateway to employment versus required terms apply. Go to host.com/terms.
Hi, I'm Richard Carr, and the world's #1 expandable hose has gone ballistic. The brand new Aqua's Ballistic is here, and it's the hose I reach for every time. This brand new
Oh yeah, I got lots of them. My partner has a bunch of them too. So yeah.
Tough enough to handle anything your outdoor tasks.
Sorry, I'm checking shit.
The Pocket Hose Ballistic comes with even more.
We're gonna get rolling in a minute.
Washers that resist leaks.
All right.
And an enhanced UV coating so your hose will be brand new year after year. What could be better than that? How about not one, but 2 free gifts with your purchase for a limited time? When you purchase a new Pocket Hose Ballistic, you'll get a free 360-degree rotating pocket pivot and a free thumb drive nozzle. Just text NATION to 64,000. That's NATION to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. That's NATION to 64,000. If you're a business owner with salespeople, how in the world could you say no to this offer? The top 20% of your salespeople close 80% of the business. 80% of all sales are closed after the 5th attempt, and 83% of all salespeople don't even ask for the sale once. Did you know that 90% of all salespeople have never even read one sales book? How many sales are being lost each month simply because your salespeople are not professionally trained how to sell? Hi, this is the world's top sales trainer, Jason Evans. I'm going to give you a free 45-minute video of pure sales training techniques that will increase your company's sales within days, guaranteed. This could double, even triple your company's sales. This video is closing, handling objections, and more. Just call us and leave us a voicemail with your email address, and we'll send you this amazing video for free. Call 800-500-8320. This is how to close from A to Z for any product or service.
Well, I want to continue the stream once I get home too. So I need some more Prime.
Hi, I'm Joe Perillo with JoePerillo.com. I'd like to tell you about Perillo Collision. The Perillo Collision staff are trained and insured to repair Bentleys, Rolls-Royce, Lamborghinis, or any other high-end luxury vehicles. We service accidents from all over the country. Maintain your luxury vehicle warranty with our professional team. Visit JoePerillo.com. That's JoePerillo.com. That's JoePerillo. And click on Perillo Collision.
That's what I'm hearing, man. I'm sorry for that. You drinking some fluids? If you're throwing up that much, dude, you need to be drinking fluids. Some Gatorade, some water. You need to have a replacement. Hey, strip club.
Call in now. 877-381-3821.
Harry's is a respectable establishment, damn it.
Comment, support him on Twitter. Gordon G. Chang at Twitter. Gordon G. Chang at Twitter. Posts some really smart and interesting stuff. So when did Taiwan become part of mainland China, Gordon?
Well, it certainly hasn't been. This is one of the great questions of history.
That's what you get in Cleveland.
Chinese ruling group has ever held indisputable.
It's either Catholic or ragged.
The Qing dynasty, which was people consider it to be the last imperial dynasty in China, was not considered to be Chinese by the Chinese themselves because the invading Manchus took over in the 17th century. So the Manchus, the Qings, actually did assume sovereignty over Taiwan. But in 1895, the Japanese, after the first Sino-Japanese War, took it over. And then the Qing.
I'm sure it's coming right out, but keep doing it.
Who was Chinese, did take
That's what I had to do during COVID.
But the 1951 San Francisco Treaty, which solved most of the legal issues following the Second World War in Asia, did not give indisputable sovereignty to Chiang Kai-shek. It left the question blank. So, as I said, no Chinese regime has ever held indisputable sovereignty to the island of Taiwan, and certainly the People's Republic of China has never had control of Taiwan.
And why did they not include Taiwan when they were making that pact?
You know, I don't know the answer to that question, but there was a lot of controversy over Chiang Kai-shek in the 1940s. And so I think it's because there was real ambivalence about his rule. Now, in hindsight, you know, people may have said that was the wrong decision. But in 1951, when they inked the San Francisco Treaty, they left the issue of sovereignty over Taiwan unresolved.
The issue of Taiwan unresolved. Now, here's my concern. You say that China's military leadership is such that a direct attack is unlikely, or it would be problematic anyway, at least right now. But what if they try an economic chokehold on the island?
Well, they have tried that. And I think that the reason why it hasn't worked is because most of the people in Taiwan self-identify as Taiwanese only. So if you look at self-identification surveys, generally speaking, you get about 2/3 of the population say they're Taiwanese, and you get about 3 or 4, maybe 5%, but usually 3 and 4 these days say that they're Chinese. What's really bad for China is that under the younger age cohorts, we're talking about the 16 to 24-year-olds, it's over 80% identify as Taiwanese only. So yes, the Chinese can do all sorts of things, control the media, cultural attempts, economic attempts, but people there, you know, don't think they're Chinese. And so
well, no, I didn't, because I let him go.
We know that
I saw that he needed to go. He needed to get over. I've been stuck out there like that, man. Have you not ever? No, he was stuck there, and I saw that he needed to go over.
Do you think we'll airlift things into?
I bet you a lot. Believe me, I'll call shit out. But I saw that someone was stuck. He signaled like he was like, oh fuck, I need to get over here.
There's one Taiwanese company that builds 92% of the world's sophisticated semiconductors. The other 8% are manufactured by Samsung and others in South Korea, which right now is going hard leftist. So we could end up with a world, if we didn't support Taiwan, we could end up with a world where the U.S. would have no semiconductors, at least the sophisticated ones, at all. And I don't think that the United States would let that happen. But we have a lot of other reasons why to support Taiwan. One of them is that Taiwan has been at the center of our Western defense perimeter since the 1800s. It prevents the Chinese Air Force and Navy from surging into the Western Pacific. So Taiwan is our front line, and we do not want the Chinese Navy floating over California or Hawaii. But also, after the catastrophic withdrawal of Afghanistan, Taiwan has become a test of the credibility of the United States. And also, we cannot allow a totalitarian state of China to absorb any democracy, because they would launch an enormous publicity war, propaganda war against us, trying to tell the world that we were done. So I think that we would defend Taiwan. And you know,
okay,
that's interesting because
I will admit the bartender was cute. And she took care of me. But no, just a steakhouse. There's like, I was probably the youngest person in that bar, and I'm 55 years old. Oh, I'll be 55 on Monday.
The president of Taiwan, then she's from the Democratic Progressive Party, the pro-Taiwan party.
Including bartender, and she was cute.
To run for re-election as president until those protests occurred in Hong Kong. don't want this for us. We're not going to vote for the pro-China party. Tsai Ing-wen got the nomination of her party to run for re-election, and she won in an historic landslide. So that shows you that the Chinese, what they do often, is very powerful, but what they do is get the opposite of result of what they want.
Very, very interesting. Is there a backup to Xi? Is there a number 2 sitting there ready? Or I don't. If there is, I wonder who it would be.
Any number 2 to Xi would be killed immediately.
One guy has emerged recently. He's the guy who shook President Trump's hand second after Xi Jinping today. But really, there is no number 2 in China.
You can't have a number 2.
Because
he'll be killed.
What we have seen over the last 4 or 5 years are a number of people circulate through what is considered to be the number 2 spot, and they change. So really, in that system, Xi Jinping does not want a real number 2, because then he would be worried about being replaced by the number 2. This occurs in so many totalitarian and authoritarian states. So the most dangerous job in the world is being the number 2 to, for instance, Kim Jong-un. And the second most dangerous job in the world is being number 2 to Xi Jinping.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Well, you're a fountain of knowledge, and we really appreciate it. Gordon Chang, the Gatestone Institute. And you can check him out. Tell everybody where you are. You're in Gordon G. Chang at Twitter, correct?
That's correct. And I archive all my articles for free at www.gordonchang.com.
Very good. And give your bride our best, too. God bless you, my friend.
And God bless you, Mark. So
actually, W had a good relationship with China, but it's about the only thing he had a good relationship with.
Let's see here.
CIA ties and shit.
History is unfolding right before our eyes. The President of the United States is delivering really every day, restoring strength at our borders, rebuilding American confidence, putting this country back on a path of common sense and constitutional principles, which is exactly why the left and the media hate him, and we love him. But our system was never meant to rest on one person's shoulders.
Hey, anybody in YouTube, hey, please check out my my Rumble channel. I'm simulcasting the Rumble. I need some unique chatters there. If you can please click on the link tree, or if you need me to, I can give you a direct link to the Rumble channel.
Association of Mature American Citizens. Unlike other senior groups, AMAC is built around the values we hold dear. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to be a senior, 18 or older. Members receive trusted news, the outstanding AMAC magazine, money-saving discounts and benefits on travel and insurance, and a lot more. And right now, you can join for 5 years, just $47, a little more than $9 a month. Excuse me, a year.
Well, several people are
less
chatting.
than $1 a month. It's a fitting way to be part of an organization
and
support your values. So go to amac.us/Levin. That's amac.us/LEVIN. Join the Association of Mature American Citizens. We'd love to have you. We'll be right back.
Yeah, I was interacting with about 3 different people there. I don't know why you can't see them. That's YouTube for you.
Turn up your weekend with Saturday Night Nation. All new experiences from channels across the region.
I mean, you're a mod on YouTube too. So.
Saturday Night 7. BPM clips the hits of the Saturday Night remix.
I would hope you are.
Flex 2K spins 2000s bangers in the Coast to Coast mix. Plus dozens more, all starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. Tap into the SiriusXM app and search Saturday Night Nation.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value for your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
You know, this is one of those topics that no one really wants to think about, but if you're a parent, a homeowner, married, or helping take care of aging parents, I think that honesty deserves a little attention. We're talking about this estate plan. And before you tune out thinking it's complicated or expensive, That's actually why I want to mention trust and will. Trust and will makes the estate planning field way less intimidating than it sounds. They offer modern, attorney-designed wills and trusts that you can create online.
Let me
The process
have it
is
turned on.
surprisingly straightforward. In fact, you can create a will in as little as 30 minutes. That includes things like guardianship for your kids or pets, how your assets are distributed, and even healthcare directives. Don't wait until it's too late.
It says there's 3 in YouTube.
The most trusted name in online estate planning.
Go to from me.
Patriot to get 20% off. That's trustandwill.com.
Yeah, it is a nice sunset.
For 20% off. Trustandwill.com/PATRIOT. Ready for a bathroom upgrade that won't disrupt your life? Jacuzzi Bath Remodel is here to help. Take the stress out of renovations with quick professional service from the name America trusts. Affordable, stunning selection of tubs and showers, each designed with style, safety, and your budget in mind. With customizable features like grab bar seats, your new bath or shower will meet your entire family's needs.
I absolutely love my new bathroom. It's very hard to believe that they get done in one day. Jacuzzi really outdid themselves.
Right now, we're waiving all installation costs, plus offering no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. Call now to schedule your free design consultation and quote. Call 800-561-3386. That's 800-561-3386. 800-561-3386. With purchase and installation financing through third-party lenders, subject to credit approval. No interest and no payments paid in full within 12 months. Interest charged from purchase date not paid in full. Not all will qualify. Call dealer for details.
Imagine relying on a dozen different software programs to run your business.
Yeah, I'm gonna be busy for the next 2 weeks, dude. But yeah, I appreciate it.
It can be pretty stressful. Now imagine Odoo. Odoo has all the programs you'll ever need, and they're all connected on one platform, giving you peace of mind that your business is being taken care of from every angle. Odoo has user-friendly applications for CRM, accounting, inventory, manufacturing, marketing, HR, and everything in between. Basically, if your business needs it, Odoo's got it. Odoo sounds pretty amazing, right? So stop depending on all those expensive, disconnected platforms and let Odoo harmonize your business with simple, efficient software that can handle everything for a fraction of the price. Sign up today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com. Odoo, modern management made simple.
Never get old. Celebrating America 250. Sirius XM Patriot 125.
We love our friends at the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. What a wonderful group. What a wonderful group. When we talk about Israel, we're not just talking about a place, we're talking about a people connected to a promise. A promise made by God. One he has never broken. One that continues today. Because God's character doesn't change. What he begins, he sustains. What he promises, he fulfills.
But you're awesome too, brother. Thank you.
Right now, in the Holy Land, Israel, families run to shelters as sirens sound. This isn't just a crisis, it's a call to respond. For Christians, well, the Holy Land is yours too. And caring for the Jewish people isn't rooted in politics, it's rooted in trust in a God who keeps his word. So we don't stay distant, we step in with prayer and practical help. The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews,
I'm gonna do some.
IFCJ, is a
Dude,
fantastic organization.
I try to schedule shit, but nothing ever actually happens the way I schedule
Hell or high water, bringing food, caring for the vulnerable, and reminding people they're not alone. Now, this is what it looks like to align our hearts with God's, to pray, to show up, to care, to act. Please join the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews in praying for the peace of Jerusalem and for the people.
I may be coming back out here tomorrow.
Visit levinforthefellowship.org. That's LEVIN for thefellowship.org.
We're shopping for a new car for the wifey on Saturday, so.
What a beautiful
Oh yeah, for sure.
Organization.
No, it is what it is, dude.
Jews working
I just roll with it anymore.
We're gonna have to.
I know I don't have control of anything, so
We're gonna need to,
other than what I do.
because the enemy is on the move. That's right. I don't mess around. The enemy is on the move. International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. Just go visit Levin for the fellowship.org. That's LEVIN for the fellowship.org. Please check them out. The information is very, very important over there. Let's take a call here. Chicago, Illinois, the great WLS. Alan, how are you?
Great, Mark. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
My girlfriend has a photograph of her holding a London Times, and those 7 degrees, the end of Europe as we know it. But as far as Iran, I think that Trump is brilliant because a former IEA inspector said that he's a nuclear engineer. He said, we do not know the entire of what's going on there. It's a puzzle missing pieces. And another inspector said that we have to be sure to focus on one thing and one thing only, and that is the nuclear weapon, the nuclear fuel. Because if they disperse it to radicals around the world, they could wreak havoc all over the world, including China. And it would be harder for us to detect and harder for us to control at that time. So we've got to wait, be patient, hold on, but get
exactly,
because we have to have control of it. And I'm sure Mossad is in there buying and getting all the information.
They can't be there forever, and nobody can, and that's the problem. To be patient to a point that the American people have lost their patience, and this worries me a lot. It worries me a lot. And not only that, I think if there's not elimination of this regime, they will be right back at this. Maybe it'll be in 5 years or 10 years, but our kids and grandkids are going to have to deal with it. That's my concern. The other thing that people aren't talking about, if I may raise this, is plutonium. They were refining plutonium, which of course is another major element in making a bomb. And I'd love to know more about the plutonium issue as well. But we're going to be chasing these guys from one end of the world to the other. I don't think we're going to have the stick-to-itiveness with our military to be in the region forever, to try and manage them and keep them in a box. I just don't. Particularly when we're going to have other issues to deal with, like communist China and so forth. So, to me, you don't get many opportunities when you have an enemy that is this weak. The window is open, but it closes. The finally put the knife in their heart. That's my concern right now. But thank you for your call, my friend. I appreciate it. You know, this guy, Christoph, who wrote that horrendous article in the New York Times about, we've read these stories about goats and what goes on over there. I'm not going to even get into that. But it's the other way around, isn't it? Nonetheless, over at the Washington Free Beacon, they remind us Times columnist Christoph's father fought on the Nazi side in World War II. The Hamas prison rape dog propagandist's dad also defended Vichy war criminal, then committed suicide after decades of nightmares. And it was Christoph who wrote about it. Now, New York Times columnist Nicholas Christoph, they read at the Free Beacon, whose article accusing Israel of using dogs and carrots to rape Palestinian prisoners, is being denounced by the Israeli Foreign Ministry as Hamas propaganda fabricated and a faceless love rival, had a father who served on the Nazi side during World War II. In Christoph's 2024 memoir, Chasing Hope, he writes, when I was growing up and other kids talked about their dads heroically battling the Nazis, I kept quiet. I didn't want to admit that my father had actually fought for a year on the same side as the Nazis. Christoph's father also wrote a letter to the editor of the Times in 1989 defending Paul Tourvière, the intelligence chief of a pro-Nazi militia in Vichy, France, who was convicted of killing 7 Jewish hostages. Christoph's father wrote that in World War II, quote, in so many cases, it was sometimes difficult indeed to draw a sharp line between friend and enemy, patriot and traitor, moral and immoral acts. To do good, he wrote, you often had to do evil too. Time and again, people had to quantify either their ethics. I am permitted to be this much immoral to achieve that much good. Kill so many to save that many. And once the war ended, it was a question to what extent personal commitments or obligations taken under one set of circumstances were still bound in totally different circumstances, moral and political. He sounds like a Nazi. By the way, Alex Soros posted that his father knows what anti-Semitism is like. What a piece of crap that guy is. George Soros had no problem working with a Nazi as I won't even say a child, a teenager, when they were selling the property of his old neighbors out from under them. When I hear about those schmucks, the disclosure that Christoph's father served in the Romanian military on the Nazi side, and helped to explain, they write, why Christoph would be so eager to demonize Israel in particular, when prison abuse cases are plentiful worldwide, and especially in New York. The Princeton historian Bernard Lewis, who had served Britain in World War II from 1940 to 45 in the Royal Armored Corps and Intelligence Corps, and at M16 wrote a 2005 article in the American Scholar. Quote, the new anti-Semitism in which he observed that Jew-baiting, Jew-hating, or generally being unpleasant to Jews serves a purpose by bringing non-Jews a kind of relief, wrote Lewis. For more than half a century, any discussion of Jews and their problems has been overshadowed by the grim memories of the crimes of the complicity, acquiescence, or indifference of so many others. Anyway, the point is Christoph's father fought for the Nazis, and now his boy writes essentially for Hamas. That would be my take. We salute our armed forces, police officers, firefighters.
My name is Preston James. I've been a stock and options trader for 23 years. I used to be an active swing trader, but that all changed once I discovered my Money Press weekly paycheck method. These days, I'm a passive trader, hauling in more cash while being able to sleep at night than I ever dreamed possible. I'm passionate about the market, and I like to keep it simple. My methods are changing thousands of lives, and I'm confident it can change yours. But let the proof do the talking. By going to accountproof.com, that's accountproof.com, you'll see a 7-minute video revealing how my Money Press method grew a $54,000 account to $174,000 in less than 9 months. That works out to 5.8% per week. You'll see the proof right inside my real brokerage account. This isn't about overnight riches, but once you discover this for yourself, you can start on this same path overnight. You're 7 minutes away from changing everything you thought you knew about trading and investing. Go to accountproof.com to get started. That's accountproof.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/news. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. The ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/news. That's ZipRecruiter.com/news. ZipRecruiter.com/news.
ZipRecruiter.
Sneaky on the right.
Hey, you, get in here. Join your radio bestie from 9
Still on
p.m. to midnight,
vacation?
where we keep the temperature cool while supercharging the information highway, bringing you your daily dose of radio brilliance on Sirius XM.
Listen live weekdays at 9 p.m. East on Sirius XM Patriot.
News this hour from Town Hall on Cape Peters in Washington. The top U.S. commander in the Middle East, Admiral Brad Cooper, tells Senate committee members that while Iran's ability to control commerce has been diminished, the Gulf nation is still a threat.
First and foremost, the United States controls
via our blockade, which I'm happy to talk about, the overall flow of commerce going into and out of Iran. The Iranian capability to stop commerce has been dramatically degraded through the straits, but their voice is very loud, and those threats are clearly heard by the merchant industry and the insurance industry.
A ship anchored off the United Arab Emirates was seized and taken toward Iran, and another was attacked and sunk near the coast of Oman. The incidents reported on Thursday came as a senior Iranian official reiterated his country's claim to the waterway. Here are the latest numbers on retail sales.
The Commerce Department says retail sales rose 0.5% in April. That's a slowdown from March's revised growth level of 1.6%, which was the largest one-month increase in retail spending in more than 3 years. Shoppers are pulling back from spending as higher gas prices are cutting into their budgets. The Iran war has led to the shutdown of the Strait of Hormuz, through which 1/5 of the world's daily oil supply travels. The average price for a gallon of regular
all the oil that
gasoline
we
rose
get
overnight
is from here, though.
53 cents compared to a year ago. That's $1.35 more. I'm Don Porter.
Cuban and U.S. officials say that
Still less
CIA
than under
Director
Biden.
John Ratcliffe has met with Cuban officials, including Raul Castro's grandson, during a high-level visit to the island. On Wall Street, the Dow by 370 points. The S&P 500 advanced 56. More at townhall.com.
If you're considering investing in precious metals, don't wait. The Iranian conflict seems to be nearing an end, and the time is now to position your retirement for massive growth. Advantage Gold is America's #1 precious metals company, and they want to send you a free gold and silver investor guide valued at $49 when you call 800-900-8000. Plus, you'll get a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Our specialist can help you open a new account or transfer funds from an existing IRA, tax and penalty free, and show you how a gold-backed IRA can put real, tangible assets into your retirement portfolio. Markets react to news cycles, but gold has maintained its value through inflation, volatility, and economic uncertainty. When the purchasing power of the dollar declines, that's when investors turn to gold and silver. Make your move now. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Results may vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
Good news for the only American
Dude, if you're ever able to, I can house you for a few days. Bus ticket, whatever it takes.
Isolation unit. The oncologist, Dr. Stephen Kornfeld from Oregon, was traveling on the
Definitely got a very comfortable couch. I sleep on it a lot. What the fuck, dude? Why are you slowing down, dude?
He helped care for fellow passengers who became sick on board. He was among more than 120 passengers and crew evacuated from the ship and flown to different countries to enter quarantine. I'm Karen Shammas.
All 4 people aboard a small medical plane that crashed outside of Ruidoso, New Mexico, have died. New Mexico officials say the cause of the crash Thursday morning remains unknown, according to Lincoln County. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
Mother, wife, Air Force veteran, gun rights advocate. This is Stacey on the Right. Here's your host, Stacey Washington.
Oh, we got beds too, but if you sleep with cats, the couch is much more comfortable. We just got a new one, so.
Welcome to Stacey on the Right. Jerome Hudson here, Breitbart News entertainment editor, author of the book 50 Things They Don't Want You to Know About Trump, and host right here on these airwaves, Breitbart News Sunday, 7 p.m. 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm coming at you live from downtown Jacksonville, Florida. The number to call and join the program, 866-957-2874. Plenty of time. 4 calls tonight. In about 15 minutes, we'll be joined by Breitbart News National Security Deputy Editor John Hayward. Will talk China trip, Trump and Xi toasting the U.S.-China relations at historic Beijing banquet here. I believe the president is already on his way back. It's already Friday. Well into Friday. in China. And so we'll get all of the latest movement.
I heard from him yesterday. He's all right. I don't know why. He's trying to figure out how to do Rumble Stream, I think. I talked to him about it. We'll see. He's okay.
It is spiraling. There were reports just out a few hours ago about the electricity and the blackouts causing just the energy crisis, compounding the food crisis as well. And there's breaking news from Jennifer Jacobs at CBS. I'll just go ahead and read it now and maybe circle back with John in about 15 minutes. But Jennifer Jacobs, CBS News, is reporting that the United States is taking steps to indict Raul Castro, the 94-year-old, I'll say dictator. They say president of Cuba. Cuba has a president, by the way, and it's not Raul Castro. And I don't think he was democratically elected. But either way, Raul, the Cuban brother of Fidel Castro.
I think he could. I think he could make good money on Rumble. They have the Rumble rants and everything, you know. He could do well on Rumble, dude. I don't understand why he doesn't want to pay $10 a month to make 200 plus, you know.
Good group over there. Just we'll wrap about debunking the media lies on climate change. I got to tell you, I've covered a lot of climate change in the last 48 hours.
And he would make much more than 200 with his crowd. If he sends him over to Rumble. Thing is, he could still do his YouTube with it too. Even the ones that don't want to come over. I don't get it. I've been trying to tell fucking Bao that forever. He just doesn't want to listen.
George Bush and the Netflix climate change movie Don't Look Up. And Adam McKay is.
I think if I have to pay to do it, fuck that. $10, dude. $10 is all it takes.
Having to bleep out every 10th word from Adam McKay. But I'll do this. I'll tease you right now.
I know he does. I drank with him, so I get it.
This morning, Anchorman director Adam McKay slams Democrat Party, Kamala, Clinton's, Biden, and Obama. Quote, no group worse than white liberals, end quote. And again, Adam McKay, huge Hollywood director, longtime Democrat, but he has soured on his former party, I guess. I mean, he called Bill Clinton, quote, a straight up serial rapist, end quote. Hillary Clinton literally funded Trump's campaign, slammed Joe Biden for not declaring.
He's doing it with Kick, though. He thinks Kick is the way. Man, Kick will fucking bounce you quick as fuck. Rumble, you have to do a lot of bad stuff to get kicked off of Rumble. I've gotten one warning on Rumble, and it's because I straight up showed a full movie that was content creative, you know? And I knew, and I apologized for it. I didn't get any issues from it.
In the second hour as well, and we'll also be joined by Paul Runko, Senior Director of Strategy Initiatives at Defending Education. There is a massive
that was what, over 2 years ago,
against public education in the country. The data just continues to come out daily. I think just completely blowing holes in any intellectual argument for the continuation of the government subsidized monopoly that has been an unmitigated disaster for the last 50 plus years in this country in public education. And so that will be a pretty lively and spirited discussion with Mr. Runko, I'm sure. Yes, I will just say that I am still deeply and securely in the camp of proud American citizens who believes that the bastards who run the government of China in Beijing should have been turned into a parking lot. As soon as it was clear that the Chinese government not only was aware of the origins of the COVID-19
But as early as November of 2019, made massive and major moves to silence anyone, doctors, journalists, uh, uh, who would actually dare to speak out about the airborne coronavirus that was spreading around the country of China. And they continued to be silent about it. And then the Chinese New Year came a month later, and you had millions of Chinese people spreading this virus all around the planet. And the rest is history. I think China owes restitution to the world, but I don't really care as much about the rest of the world as I do about the United States and the absolute barbarity of horrific public policy that was pushed down almost exclusively by Democratic governors during the lockdowns. It still boils my blood, as you might imagine. I'm not a business owner who had to go through the living nightmarish hell of those horrific policies, oftentimes by Democratic governments. I sympathize eternally with President Trump and then Vice President Trump in most of their, I say most of their cabinet, who had to live through that nightmare and navigate it in real time, while again dealing with either half truths or almost 100% BS. I almost said the other word from the Chicoms and the World Health Organization, all, on how to actually navigate this virus. Was it lab manufactured? Was it the type of coronavirus that we'd seen, iterations of SARS, bird flu, everything else for decades, or was it something else? And the Chicoms knew it. They destroyed the literal DNA evidence. Oh man. I'm getting all of this out of the way because I'll give John Hayward, who obviously knows how I feel about this. I love him to death. He's my colleague, but I'll give him an abridged version of this. And I'm saying this because I understand that the president has to have relations with the second largest economy on the planet. I do love John and I's colleague, Francis Martel.
Unfortunately, we had a rhino governor here that pushed a lot of that bullshit. He's finally going to be out of office, but he's endorsing the Democrat. A Republican governor is endorsing the Democrat over Vivek Ramaswamy. Fucking piece of shit. I'm not surprised though.
Coverage about this summit that has been on the books for months. I think it was actually pushed a few months ago. They rejiggered the schedule, but we knew it was coming and we knew it was going to happen. And I hadn't actually seen any coverage about the concentration camps that are in China that we've known about for almost a decade now, at least. The Associated Press, I believe, was the first, if not the New York Times, to report on the Uyghur Muslim slave encampments in China as far back as 2018. And I was like, oh man, Francis mentioned it on the call, and I was like, damn, what the hell's wrong with me? That used to be like top of mind a half decade ago, or even a couple of years ago. And now CNN, as I'm watching, Caitlin Collins' show opened 9 p.m. Eastern. She spent a full 5+ minutes on Taiwan, which Secretary of State Marco Rubio basically explained that it wasn't a huge issue throughout the entirety of the summit. Of course, it came up, but China's not going to invade Taiwan. And so it was just not a major item on the menu of topics and concerns and issues that were debated over and grappled about. But the elite Democrat media has just been chasing the Taiwan car all day. And they do it, obviously, they use it to try to wedge and I guess show the president is weak and abandoning his allies and placating Xi, which is easy for them to do when they have photos of the president, toasting dapping up, if you will, the dictator and the butcher, Xi Jinping. So, fine, all of it. I understand it. I get it. The market loved the summit. Over 50,000. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was at the closing bell today. The market was up over 370 points. I click over and I'm still like, man, look, oil's over $102. John will have thoughts on this, I'm sure. But the big brains that cover the international news desk at Breitbart see this entire trip leading up to it and post trip as just bad for Iran, because Iran needs China to continue to buy oil. It needs China to continue to keep the supply chains free for them to secure their weapons. Iran, right? Which many of them have been destroyed. They
Mad entities, Waterville, Ohio.
Many of them. Iran depends on China for myriad reasons, and so to have the president of the United States, if you will, in the same room with the Chinese and all of the leverage that the president has, President Trump has in that, knowing that this war has crippled the Chinese economy, which was relatively weak before Operation Epic Fury.
We've noticed true colors since COVID.
It's horrible for Iran. It just, again, I understand it's necessary.
A very red state that is, their governor is keeping everybody in lockdown. That tells you everything.
United States. What the COVID pandemic did to a generation of children, stealing so much from them, the hell that hundreds of thousands of small business owners had to live through on a day-to-day basis in their own lives, in their own families. And
believe me, if he wasn't term limited, he would never get elected again.
The lockdowns. We don't have the lockdowns. We don't have the jab, however you may feel about it. We don't have tens of thousands of elderly who died because governors in Michigan and Pennsylvania and New Jersey, New York and California instituted.
That's going to change.
That literally sent those elderly to their deaths by just putting them on wards with other sick elderly people contracting the virus. Sickening. The help staff, the CNAs, physician assistants, therapists. I mean, this hell on earth that the United States and of course the rest of the world was put through because these bastards not only knew that the virus was out, but covered it up, disappearing doctors, silencing journalists. Anyway.
Ribbing in that fucking first.
I'll get the hell off my soapbox here. I feel like I'm not alone. And again, for the fifth time, I will say I understand the president has to have the relations. I know deep in the marrow of President Trump's bones that he would like to decouple from China completely. He is now up to, as the man who wrote the book on Donald Trump's policies of his first term, I can tell you that the president has eclipsed 50 different granular ways of decoupling the U.S. economy from China, and the trade war that the president launched in the spring of 2025 is at the top of the list. All right, anyway, 866-957-2874. I said we have plenty of time for calls, and I mean it. And I would love to hear from you. I bloviate, I bring on smart guests, and you are the third leg of the show. So 866-95-PATRIOT. We'll bring John Hayward in here on the other side of the break. Stacey Washington is out doing important things tonight, and I thank her for trusting me to keep the captain's chair warm in her stay. I'm Jerome Hudson, filling in for Miss Washington. This is Stacey Washington on the right. We'll be right back.
America's evolution over 250 years is part of our celebration. What we do next as a country, what you do next as an American matters. It's about we the people. That's where the power begins. That's where the power continues. That's where the future lies for America. The David Webb Show, weekdays from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern on Sirius XM Patriot. Freedom never gets old. This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-619-64. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-619-6488. That's 800-619. I understand that the president has to have an engagement and a relationship with the second largest economy on the planet. I get that. This trip had been planned. I think it was moved around and rejiggered a little bit a few months ago, but I understand that it has to happen, and so I understand why it happened. I still hate it, and I hate it because the Chicoms knew that they had an airborne coronavirus that was very likely lab manipulated in November of 2019, and they silenced doctors and they disappeared journalists and anyone who dared to say something about it. Then they let millions of their citizens travel on the Chinese New Year's. So I've been basically like, damn the bastards who run Beijing to hell since then. But thank God I'm not an elected official and certainly not president of the United States, right? Because I just don't know what I would do. And I know that President Trump wants to decouple from China, and he's done at least 50 different things, not the least of which, or the top of the list would be the war on trade that he launched
over a year ago. And so that's how I feel about it. But I wouldn't want it to happen, but I understand that it did. What are your biggest takeaways from the summit as it's ended? Because I think the president's on his way back now.
Well, it is pretty amazing what China has gotten away with. The coronavirus is a big one, of course, ravaged the world with this thing, corrupted the World Health Organization to protect their own interests, and nobody was held accountable for that. The same people are still at WHO running the joint. We ended up withdrawing from WHO, in part because of how badly they flubbed the coronavirus and because China runs the joint, and there's no point in being part of it when you could see them get away with that, and nothing was done. The Chinese have committed genocide. They use forced labor, slave labor, for people that are within their purview. They crushed democracy in Hong Kong with this brutal totalitarian national security law and took this beautiful bustling island and turned it into a dungeon. I mean, just the list of offenses, Tiananmen Square, it's like it seems like there's no crime against humanity that China can commit that it doesn't get away with, because it has the muscle, the economic power, the political influence that it takes to never be held accountable for anything it does. And here's another example.
Hey, Jacob.
Go there. You're right. It's the second biggest economy in the world. We have to talk to them. We have to make deals with them. We have to factor them into our strategy. We have common interests in areas like Iran and Israel.
She has snacks. I need to be stopping somewhere to do some networking on the way home. It's called Mad Anthony's in Waterville. It's right next to the town I live in.
So, I don't know how large the share of the audience is that agrees with that very real frustration, right? But also simultaneously understands that the president has to do this, even as he continues to decouple and strengthen the American economy at the expense of China's, and in the best way that he can. What did the president, his team, American taxpayers, like, what did happen at the summit that we can point to and say, okay, we're better today than we were before the summit?
Well, the big one is the White House said that China is agreeing with President Trump in agreement on Iran not having nuclear weapons and on opening the Strait of Hormuz. Those are big priorities for American foreign policy. Now, you never know.
But they're giving them the stuff. That's fucked up. He's saying this, but they're giving them the material.
You can only take that so far to the bank, and you can't quite cash that check until the Chinese do something. But the White House is pretty upbeat that they got a good agreement there. They've agreed to buy 200 airplanes from Boeing. It's a big sale. They're going to buy more oil and liquid natural gas from the United States. They pretty much stopped buying oil from us in May.
Every time they make promises at these meetings, they negate on it. So I don't believe any of it.
Salutary long-term effect. If we build up our oil industry and supply China with oil, they got to buy it from somebody. It might as well be from us, and that way you don't have hostile nightmare states like Iran raking in the chips from selling oil to China. So that's good. There's some positive things that came out of this, but there's also disturbing notes, like China in their readout of the meeting that we didn't mention. They said, "Oh yeah, President Xi trumped the riot act on Taiwan," and explained how important it is to cut out.
You read the riot act about the past history on Taiwan.
They told him that. He said, "Shrugged." So they always say that, when they start ranting about Taiwan, and we move on to whatever we're working on. But there is at least the implication there that they think we might trade away some of our support for Taiwan, not completely sell down the river, but maybe agree to sell them a bit less armament in exchange for things that Trump wants from Xi. And the Chinese are very worried about that possibility.
Yeah, it's weird because, like, Xi knows. I feel like they're going to invade. I don't know when they will. They say it'll be 2028, which is incredibly interesting. Because that'll be should it happen, that would be the throes of the most important presidential election in our lifetimes. So the Chinese state media have this quote here: "If Taiwan is not handled properly, the two countries may clash or even come into conflict, pushing the entire China-U.S. relationship into a very dangerous situation." I think the problem is that should China invade Taiwan, it's not going to be a U.S. problem. That it would be a world war immediately. And Xi knows that ridiculous structure of government knows it. The military, all of it, like it's not a secret. But and I get the bluster. I get that Xi's a dictator and he can't show weakness. I get it all, but it just makes no damn sense. It's not as if it's just China and Taiwan and the U.S. alone would have an issue with it in a vacuum. It's just complete nonsense.
Well, the Chinese are very careful planners. They always have been. They highly value what they call strategic patience, which means sometimes you wait for years until everything is just right, and then you make your move when success is 100% guaranteed. And in the case of something like Taiwan, the Chinese planners, they've got to be a little nervous at this point after watching so much of their hardware fail in the hands of the Iranians, how we just walked right past so much state-of-the-art Chinese equipment. They had all these anti-ship missiles they fired at us that were Chinese, none of them worked. So if you're a Chinese military planner, you're a little nervous about what's going to happen if you throw down against the U.S. and Taiwan using U.S. equipment and how that might go for you. So you go back to the strategic planning drawing board and you extend your plans a few years further into the future. You still think if you're Xi, maybe you'll get Taiwan for free. Maybe they will eventually agree to join China. You'll muscle them into it, pressure them into it, bribe them into it, and you won't have to blow them up because you don't want to do that anyway because that wrecks all the good stuff you want to take if you're going to be in control of Taiwan. So you go back to that strategic planning perspective and you make careful moves. You move your chess pieces around and you wait for the right moment, and maybe that'll be in 28, 30, 32. I really think it's something Xi wants to do while he's in power and alive. He looks at his horizon, how old he is, where he's going, and I really think he wants to be known as the great leader that brought Taiwan back. It's like the crowning feather in his cap, but he won't make a suicidal play for it because that would ruin his legacy.
Taiwan acquiescing, I mean, that feels like it would just be a 5-alarm fire in Tokyo and beyond. John Hayward joining the program. He is Breitbart News' deputy royal editor. You should read everything that he writes. I do. And speaking of that, on to Hormuz News is what I'm calling it.
Doesn't the skyline look good though?
In the Hormuz Strait, and I read your story. 2 videos attacked near Strait of Hormuz. One seized, one sunk. Is it open? Is it closed? I look at the price of oil, even as the Dow Jones Adjusted Average hit the record plus 50,000 again, and oil was still there, $102, 107 Brent crude, and I hate it. And I feel like so much of it is tied up into the fact that there is just still far too many issues in the strait when it comes to particularly tanker ships moving in and out safely.
And it doesn't take much if you're Iran to keep the strait closed. You don't.
Believe me, U.S. oil makers are loving this right now. They're becoming primary in the U.S. and other places, and they're making big money. But they know it's not going to last.
And then we have another ship that was apparently kidnapped by a boarding party and is being sailed back to Iran. That's pretty low investment. You didn't need a lot of power to do that. Any rinky-dink country could do that. But Iran gets a huge payback in terms of everybody being afraid, keeping the strait closed, and ratcheting up the pressure on the U.S. They think we're going to blink first, in no small part because we are a democracy and our consumer culture has a very low threshold for economic pain, and we got midterm elections coming up. So if you're Iran, you're running numbers, and you're thinking, yeah, the U.S. blockade really hurting us, but we can take the pain much longer than they can. And everything they're doing right now is designed to keep everybody off base. They're denying that they closed the strait. No, what are you talking about? We're not closing the strait. As far as we're concerned, it's totally open, as long as you cooperate with the Iranian military.
He's not that old. But he's not healthy.
At the end of that statement. So they're playing all kinds of double games. And they seem convinced that Trump is not going to do anything further kinetic to them, so they can just turn this into a mutual strangulation contest that they're going to win.
Do we know anything about, I think it was an 11-point plan that the U.S. side sent over to Iran, and then we waited for their response, and the president hated it, but you made very clear several times. I feel like that was the last time that we actually got major granular specificity on where the negotiation ceasefire and all of it is. Am I wrong on that? I mean, I just feel like there hasn't been much movement after that.
No, that's right. That was the last thing we heard in the public domain, any kind of details at all. And Iran, in their public statements, they're basically calling for surrender. Like, they won't accept anything but us surrendering to them and paying them more reparations and giving them everything in the world, and they get their nuclear weapons and everything else. So that tells you that they're back to that mindset of just, we're both choking each other out. We're bigger, we're stronger, but they can take more pain.
What I just saw, Xi Jinping is 72.
President Trump's party in midterm election prospects. And that really would suggest that Trump needs to do something to shake up that game.
But he looks very unhealthy.
Like at least a couple dozen more leaders. I don't, like you just said 3 minutes ago, Iran feels like they're going to win this waiting game. And I don't know how many moves the president has other than just inflicting maximalist pressure by just killing more leaders. You just keep shuffling the deck. We're in Vegas, baby. Just keep shuffling the deck. You'll win eventually. And this one's not blackjack. Like, I guess, but I don't know.
There's one other thing Connecticut could do, and it would be a big step, but he could remove Iran's ability to threaten shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. And that would be a significant operation. You'd have to sanitize the Iranian coast of the strait, wipe out all of their weapons, take that territory, you have to use boots on the ground, and then you can neutralize the threat that Iran poses to international shipping, and that is a line he really doesn't want to cross. It's very politically difficult for him to commit ground troops.
There's the factions against and certainly the factions for what you just
I haven't
laid
seen
out.
anything recently of him, so it's hard to tell.
I think the factions against will ultimately win out because
I'm not as concerned about Putin as I am.
Okay, we'll leave it there. So
Putin is Putin.
John Hayward, Breitbart News, Deputy World Editor. I got one more biggie here. Cuba. I do.
They were ready to grind 1 million people for a little bit of space.
Mayors of American cities being outed as Chinese spies. But Jennifer Jacobs of CBS News tweeted about an hour and a half ago, John, the U.S. is taking steps to indict Raul Castro, the 94-year-old president of Cuba and brother of Fidel, in connection with the downing of planes 30 years ago, according to United States sources familiar. The potential indictment, which would need to be approved by a grand jury, is expected to focus on Cuba's deadly 1996 shoot-down of planes operated by humanitarian groups, Brothers of the Rescue. I know, Frances Martel, our colleague, we love her to death. She is deeply invested, as she is from Cuba, in this operation, this humanitarian operation. I please forgive me if I'm just bringing this on you. My question, I guess. Interesting. Yeah, I guess my question. Why do you do this? Yeah, right.
Because you can't just go during the drill on this guy. I mean, that would be an attractive thought. They're just going to throw a bag over his head.
4 hip surgeries. He wouldn't even survive that extraction.
But the reason you do this is to ratchet up sanctions pressure. You get this indictment, and they're guilty of sin. They actually really doubt that the Cubans murdered those people, no question at all. So they're guilty of sin. You get the indictment, and that gives you the ability to apply more sanctions pressure to rally the international community. And you know that there are already overtures being made to Cuba that if you leave all this Castro nonsense behind, you can make a deal with us and have a nicer life for yourself. And maybe that finally shakes the regime out of power. It's looking a little weak right now. If you're a Cuban, you're spending half of your life sitting in the dark because they keep having rolling blackouts across the island. And I think there's a calculation in the U.S. State Department and so on that we can push them a little harder, and the regime will finally.
Used to date a Cuban.
Chance of that happening.
A Cuban national.
What happens if that happens? This is a massive hypothetical I'm asking you, but I just don't know what life after the Castros looks like.
It would be interesting to see that play out. You know that some of the people that are power hitters in the regime would keep their power and their money. They would find ways to do it. But if it was no longer the Castro dictatorship, and if they stopped being a communist pariah state, they have a lot to offer and a lot to cash in on. And maybe the Cuban people might start thinking, hey, this place could be a vacation paradise. We have a lot we could offer the world. I know Trump is going to pitch it to it in those terms. Could be a much more prosperous life for people in Cuba if they're willing to go that route. And maybe they are. After all these years of living in a communist dungeon, maybe they're finally just tired of it.
Aside from what Michael Moore has been telling us, obviously through his documentaries, that Cuba has a world-class healthcare system. Aside from that, John, I don't actually know what Cuba has. Minerals, gold, oil, you know, Hollywood loves it. And a lot of old cars, but yeah.
Agricultural products, culture, tourism. I mean, that can be a lot of money. Yeah. Culture and tourism can be, that sustains them now. That's pretty much how their economy runs, is they get tourists to come there and pump foreign currency into the hands of the regime, and the people get treated like slaves, and all the lefties are okay with that. And if that ends, then the people actually get to start sharing some of that wealth. It really changed their life.
Before we let you go, Eileen Wang, the former mayor of Arcadia, California, admitted to acting as a spy on behalf of the People's Republic of China in a federal plea deal. My question is, did you find it strange that the news of this plea deal came out on Monday, which was basically on the lip of the president and his envoy going over to China? Because I did, and I felt weird because I didn't really hear many people bring up the timing of the plea, because the plea news was the first news, I believe, that we actually got, that the Chicons had mayors as spies in major American cities. Like,
right. It's shocking, but it shouldn't be that surprising. They put a lot of effort into this. They spend a lot of money, and they find people that are politically simpatico with the Chinese Communist Party. They're willing to hear what they say. Their pitch to you is going to be not only to stuff money in your pocket, but to tell you, look, you're wise, you're one of the elites, you're like us, you're smart, you're not like these knuckle-dragging Republican guys. So join the winning team over here at Communist China. And that is going to work with a lot of these people, as you see what the left is deteriorated into. So I'm not surprised at all. I bet there's more that we'll uncover by the time all this is over, including sitting office holders.
The former Walnut, California mayor and council member says he's not surprised, and wouldn't be surprised if there were more of these spies across the country, which is just the absolute craziest thing. We need to blow it all up, blow up the birth tourism, all of it. Get the communist Chinese out of America. I don't know. It's the craziest thing. John,
that's part of border security. That's part of what border security means. Right? Using hostile foreign influences in many ways.
Yeah, I don't have the numbers on the top of my head, but we were apprehending some Chinese nationals at the border thanks to Biden. Okay, sir, I seriously appreciate you. Please thank your lovely bride for allowing me to have you as long as you did, sir. I'll see you in the soon.
Always a blast to talk to you.
Thank you. There he is, folks. I hope you enjoyed it, because I always do, and I think you do. I have a sneaking suspicion that the audience enjoys John Hayward. I mean, how could you not love that voice? I mean, it's just perfect. All right. Plenty of time for calls. I see them coming in. 866-957-2874. This is Stacey on the Right.
Art News Daily with your host, Mike Slater. What is this?
Yeah, that's what they're talking about. That's what they were talking about.
Jubilee of prayer, praise, and thanksgiving taking place this Sunday on the national level. Talk about some.
Art News Daily, weekdays at 6 a.m. Eastern on Sirius XM Patriot 125. Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack.
That came out right before
your job to some job board, but then all you can do is
the news of Trump going to China.
Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free.
But it's old news, and it just came up.
ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you.
So much she gets buried.
Its powerful technology identifies people.
It's up to us to find it
and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter. Looking for the needle in the haystack. See why 4 out of 5 employers who post their job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the
brand new Pocket Hose Ballistic is here, and it's the hose I reach for every time. This brand new anti-burst sleeve uses an extraordinary new liquid crystal polymer used in bulletproof vests, tough enough to handle anything your outdoor tasks throw its way. And that's not all. The Pocket Hose Ballistic comes with even more upgrades like thicker washers that resist leaks and an enhanced UV coating so your hose looks brand new year after year. What could be better than that? How about not one, but 2 free gifts with your purchase for a limited time? When you purchase a new Pocket Hose Ballistic, you'll get
spying is a federal crime.
Rotating pocket pivot and a free thumb drive nozzle. Just text NATION to 64,000. That's NATION to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. That's NATION to 64,000.
May 15th on Paramount Plus. At the river back.
Here we go, Dutton Ranch.
This life here is gonna work.
Will make it work. Starring Kelly Riley.
A legacy is a beautiful thing, but only if it survives.
Cole Hauser. What's going to work? Ed Harris. Family is the only thing we're fighting for. And Annette Bening.
I can make this a lot harder for all y'all. And peace will have to wait.
Dutton Ranch. New series streaming May 15th on Paramount Plus. Freedom never gets old. Celebrating America 250. Sirius XM Patriot 125. This is Stacy on the Right with Stacy Washington on Sirius XM Patriot 125. Life in Cuba after the Castros. I saw a headline on Haiti. Hundreds of people displaced as gang violence spreads. I mean, it's just incredible. The more things change, the more they stay the same, I guess. 866-95 Patriot. That's the number. Let's go to the phone lines for the first time. Chuck in Boston. Chuck, I appreciate you holding on the line. Chuck, let me ask you, are you a Patriots fan?
Get about it.
No, yeah. Have you?
I don't really follow football like I used to.
Yeah.
Sometimes I gotta work where I don't have the time, and it just gets in the way sometimes. So I watch the Super Bowl, the playoffs sometimes, just like the World Series. I'm not really a sports fan, but when it comes down to the best, that's the stuff I watch.
Yeah.
So when Trump, I forget when it was. I think it was when he was running his first campaign.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about Iraq. And he says, we should have taken the oil. I would have taken the oil.
Yeah.
So that gave me an idea that maybe he should take control of Iran's oil and Venezuela's oil. Sell it. If we have to do business with China. Sell it to China for more money to put it back into our economy and put it into building refineries here so that we can get on top of it and be able to eventually have world dominance with oil.
No, this is great.
Got to do something, you know?
This is great. Are you talking to me on your cell phone right now, Chuck?
Why does it matter?
Okay, well, write this down. It's the name of the book is Time to Get Tough. Have you ever heard of it? It's Donald Trump's book.
No, but who wrote it?
That's kind of a tricky question. My mentor Winton Hall at Breitbart.com. He's our social media manager. I can say his name on Planetary Radio now because he's the author of Code Red, The Left, the Right, China, and the Rise of the Race to Control AI. I'm pretty sure I'm okay with this, with saying that Winton Hall helped shape and craft Time to Get Tough, President Trump's book.
Can I give you my perspective on Cuba?
Well, I want to address your first point, which is a pretty brilliant one. And so, this book, Time to Get Tough, comes out in 2011, Chuck. Okay. Chapter 2 is called "Take the Oil." Starts on page 9, and the president methodically and with great specificity lays out the exact same point that you just made, i.e., Iran. And this is the playbook that we.
My idea.
And he's had it since at least circa 2011. But
maybe I subconsciously, just put two and two together.
It's just great minds.
All his rallies.
It's just great minds.
I would like to get before you hang up on me. I'd like to get my point on Cuba.
Yeah, go ahead.
What I think we should do is board all American car companies making small 4-cylinder brand new cars, and ship them over to Cuba when everything gets straightened out. And as Cuba's becoming more and more domesticated, whatever.
Yeah.
Get out of communism and trade them for all those old cars and bring all those old cars back here and restore all those old cars.
I got to tell you, I got a good friend he's got 3 Ford. One's 1954. I mean, between him and Hollywood, right? The museums. I mean, you're on to something for sure. I'm fascinated with it. Just life after the dictatorship, and which kind of brings me to my point. We're already seeing the presidents take the oil strategy play out writ large in Venezuela. And to your point, like you just heard John Haywood say,
I'm still
the Chicons have agreed to
that
buy
far away.
American oil again. Much of that, like I don't really know the level or degree of the type of oil that China was buying from us before they boycotted us last summer.
Well, and I have to agree with one thing he said about Cuba becoming a paradise, because it could become a resort island, and their economy.
It is a resort island already for everybody but the U.S.
Builders that would invest in hotels and casinos.
It could be Puerto Rico.
But dump the U.S. money into that, and it will blow up.
90 miles off the coast.
You have to get rid of Yeah.
Right. That island, it could be a paradise.
No,
right at the,
it is
right off our coast, pretty much, right?
I totally agree.
Then a lot of Cubans that live here are going to be swimming back to Cuba.
From here to New York, man. I mean, and in between. Good stuff, Chuck.
I'd go visit Cuba.
Yeah, I give it a little minute. I went to Medellin, I don't know, a year and a half ago, and I went at the right time. If I'd gone 10 years earlier, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have been the same city. But of course, in the 80s, forget about it. And so I don't know. I'd have to get. I actually trust Francis Martel. I sent Francis a message, and I said,
hey, what's his name?
Yeah, the name of the book, Time to Get Tough, Making America Number One Again, Donald Trump.
All right, I'll look for it.
God bless you. God bless you, Chuck.
I have to check it out.
What was I saying? Yeah, I went to Medellin, but before I went, I sent Francis Martel, whose parents fled Cuba, and she's just brilliant, and she knows a lot about Venezuela and South America and Central America. And I said, "Is it safe for me to go to Medellin?" And she assured me, that obviously anything can happen, but I felt secure in my decision, and I absolutely loved Colombia, and I went back, a couple times. Anyway, okay, 866-95 Patriot is the number. Rahm Emanuel on future of Democratic Party. Rahm Emanuel's going to run. He's going to run. We're going to talk to our next guest, Chris Mars, the meteorologist and science policy. Rahm Emanuel's been doing the podcast tour, and he's talked about climate change. I don't have any of those quotes on the top of my head to spit at, Chris. But Rahm Emanuel's really making education in America sort of a central, at least recently, a central tenet in his talking points. And I guess this is a presidential campaign. Obviously, a headhunter in the Clinton White House.
I agree.
And former Chicago mayor. What was he?
He pretends to be centrist, but he's not.
Got into a crazy race scandal.
I hate his issues with, or I hate his alliance with Thomas Massey.
Black kid
Makes me hate Thomas Vance even more.
Emptied the clip on him. And the footage leaked without the then mayor at the time,
really like Thomas Vance,
knowing about it. And you could tell why the mayor's office didn't want to reveal it. But that was crazy because Rahm Emanuel leaves office, and then that just like maybe Chicago wasn't as bad. That was over a decade ago as it is today. I'm sure it was in many problems, but you just didn't have the viral videos that we have today of mostly Black residents just rip sugar honey iced tea at the local city council, and how they're just subsidizing life for illegal immigrants. Crime obviously is running rampant. The school systems are just shoddier and shoddier every year. And the Black contingent of voters in Chicago still obviously not strong enough to do better than the current mayor, Brandon Johnson. But Rahm Emanuel leaving Chicago put them on a path to what it is today. The killing fields island of dystopia down there in Illinois, because Lori Lightfoot had to be, bar none, if not certainly one of, if not the worst mayor in America. And we don't even talk about Lori Lightfoot anymore. That's how bad she was.
That's how bad.
You don't even see her.
The current
She's not even a commentator, easily taking cash from CNN. She could do it. And Brandon Johnson might actually have a career because that guy is such a smug SOB. The MS Now would love to have him.
Come on, dude.
So Rahm Emanuel, there's going to be like 25 Democrats running for president in 2028. All right, that's hour number one. That was fun. We'll take a break and be right back. I'm Jerome Hudson filling in for the great Stacey Washington. Stay with us. If you're struggling to hear conversations, TV, or the people you love, now there's an easier, more affordable solution without spending thousands. Audion Hearing makes high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98 with free shipping and dedicated one-on-one support in the comfort of your own home. No doctor's offices, no pressure.
Even with all the Dems that are in Illinois, I don't see that happening.
Hearing life more clearly. Visit audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Like I don't see it happening. But you never know.
I got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder. Plus free shipping when you text Patriots to 64,000. Text Patriots to 64,000 to get your 20% off. That's Patriots to 64,000. Business owners. Access to capital with real people who understand small business. You need to be in business at least 1 year.
The Supreme Court is leaving access to an abortion pill unchanged for now.
The Supreme Court preserved women's access to a drug used in the most common method of abortion. The order allows women to continue obtaining the drug mifepristone at pharmacies or
through the mail without an in-person visit to a doctor. The justices granted emergency requests from makers of mifepristone who are appealing a federal appeals court ruling that would require women to see a doctor in person and halt delivery of the drug through the mail. The Federal Food and Drug Administration, which first approved mifepristone for use in abortion in 2000, stopped requiring in-person visits 5 years ago. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
The capital of Ukraine is reeling after a wave of attacks by Russia.
With Kyiv being the target in the most latest attack, it caused part of a residential building to completely collapse. Emergency workers are still trying to uncover bodies from underneath the rubble. Ukrainian President Zelensky said that in the last 36 hours alone, Russia has launched over 1,500 drones across Ukraine. This particular attack comes as U.S. President Donald Trump visits Chinese leader Xi Jinping, and Ukrainian officials are interpreting this attack as a response to that visit.
Correspondent Samya Kulov.
How does
reporting.
one thing have to
Lawmakers are looking
do
to
with the
raise
other?
the retirement age for U.S. Capitol Police officers. It's a move that comes as lawmakers face rising threats and as the Capitol Police Department struggles to recruit and retain enough officers. On Wall Street, the Dow by 370 points, the Nasdaq rose 232, the S&P advanced 56. More at townhall.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0141. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The United States Postal Service has released special edition bald eagle stamps for the country's upcoming birthday.
The U.S. Postal Service has released special edition stamps featuring the bald eagle for America's 250th birthday. The stamps depict the eagle across 5 life stages, from hatchling to adult. They're available for immediate purchase. The eagle has long symbolized American values like strength, freedom, and independence, but it's also considered a major conservation success story. In the mid-1900s, eagles nearly vanished due to pesticide poisoning. A 1972 ban on the chemical helped their recovery. I'm Mike Hempel.
The artist behind the collection spent nearly a year on the illustrations and hopes the stamps inspire appreciation for the natural world. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
Mother, wife,
Air Force veteran.
gun rights advocate.
This is Station on the Right. Here's your host, Steve Washington. Welcome back to Stacey on the Right Hour. Number 2, we're rolling right along. Jerome Hudson, Breitbart News Entertainment Editor, filling in for the great Stacey Washington here on a Thursday night. As promised, joining us right now is Chris Marks, meteorologist, science policy analyst for CFAC. Chris, how you doing?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing great. I talked to your founder and president, I don't know, it was about 2 months ago. We were talking about how President Trump stepped in and saved a bunch of whales and the skyline up there in the Northeast, those doggone wind turbines. So that was the last time that I checked in
on what you guys are doing. I want to ask you just broadly, Chris, in your estimation, where is the climate change, or as we at Breitbart call it, the climate doom movement? Where did
I think that here in the United States, especially, it's in a rapid retreat. I think that the Trump administration has done a lot of great work on, cutting off funding for certain research initiatives. I think that they've done a great job on rolling back some of the burdensome environmental and energy policy regulations that they had, especially the endangerment finding. And so we owe a debt of gratitude to Chris Wright, Energy Secretary, and EPA Administrator Lee Milton. And overall, globally, I think that it's definitely taken a back seat to certain issues, especially with this war in Iran on people's minds. But from my followers on social media, when I'm talking about how the climate scam seems kind of dead here in the United States, I do hear quite a bit from people in Europe and people in Canada that they say that's very much alive and well. So I don't think it's
we're doing 45. It's fucking 65 out there.
More
wow.
For us to work with on this issue moving forward, especially if we get another Democratic administration coming in January 2029 after the 2028 election. But for now, there's reason to celebrate that this isn't the biggest issue on people's minds right now. So I think that's a victory, but we shouldn't let our guard down.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you that because we've sort of seen, at least in the last several months, just what feel like seismic shifts in terms of white flags for what may be obvious reasons. Bill Gates came out a couple months ago, sat down in a popular podcast space, and and he also put out a treatise, I think, as well, basically saying, yeah, you know what, we kind of overdid it with climate change alarmism. Now he's obviously invested heavily in very, sort of energy dependent data centers, and so he has his own reasons, but Bill Gates has poured just a fortune into the climate change movement. The New York Times coming out just a few days ago with an op-ed arguing that voters are turned off. Typically, liberal Democrat voters are turned off by the climate change messaging, and after decades of failed predictions, maybe we should just stop talking about it. In my first book, I dedicated a few chapters to climate change, and I just quoted chapter and verse, just massive, major political survey after survey, whether it was an election year, off election year, it didn't matter. And climate change did barely ever crack the top 20 most important issues on people's minds. And so that's kind of why I asked you the question, because it just feels like the countries that pursue the bad, ridiculously duplicitous policies and treaties, while America continues to pursue energy dominant policies, and obviously China continues to build coal-fired plants by the week, in Russia as well. You know, there seems to be still just this like 80% of the pie in the middle of just world leaders from Canada to France and beyond just pursuing just ridiculous and asinine policies. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I would agree, and it's very interesting seeing that separation here between what's happening here in the United States and what's going on in other countries. But your point about the AI data centers is spot on. People like Bill Gates did not quite a 180, turn on this, but he went about 120 degrees to the right on this issue. Yeah. And it's all about money. Money talks. There's an AC/DC song, Money Talks. So it's a big thing with these billionaires investing in these, companies, these AI data centers, and just data centers in general, not even for AI, but for, email servers, everything. So it's a big thing. It's a big money-making scheme for them. And so the climate scam kind of was profitable for them, because they were investing in all these renewable energy things. But now that we see the AI, now that they have this next big thing, then they're seeing sort of the climate activists oppose them. And some of the concerns I think about AI data centers are legitimate. I think there's a lot of hysteria about it, but I think there are legitimate questions and concerns people have. But there's a lot of opposition from the environmental activists, the climate activists on this that are left. And so people like Bill Gates are now distancing themselves from that crowd because they're now trying to impede, his efforts to make more money.
Strange political bedfellows. We see it all the time. I certainly want to get to the monthly climate fact check that you guys have cooked up. It just as a former researcher for Peter Schweitzer, that really gets me going. But I would be remiss, Chris, because I teased the audience. I told them that I would ask you about Adam McKay and this massive rant that he went on 48 hours ago on a climate change podcast. You aware of who the movie director Adam McKay is?
I'm actually not. This is actually news to me.
Well, it's okay, because I said that to the audience at the top of the first hour. I said, if you don't know who Adam McKay is, that's fine. You probably have seen Anchorman or Anchorman 2, which I don't think he directed, and I don't know if it should exist as a movie, but he directed Anchorman. Old School, has worked a ton with Will Ferrell. Don't Look Up.
I heard the name sounds familiar, but I wasn't sure where it played.
Yeah, no, Talladega Nights.
I just watched that movie. Yeah, that's where I saw it. I watched it over the weekend with a friend of mine.
And so I'm the entertainment editor at Breitbart, and so this is the world that I live in. If you will forgive me for inviting you into it, I cover the intersection between these wildly influential and popular cultural figures like this director who's made these massively popular movies, but these people are oftentimes incredibly political. And Adam McKay spent the better part of a quarter of a century being one of the foremost climate activists. Now, he's not a celebrity in the sense that he's an A-lister, he's a household name, but he has influence because he has ripped off one hit after another. He co-wrote and directed The Big Short. And he's got a home out in Ireland and a home in LA. So he's just a massive hypocrite, obviously. But he went on this podcast, Chris, and I wrote the article, and I just could not believe with every sentence that I wrote. He called President Bill Clinton, quote, a straight up serial rapist. He said, quote, Hillary Clinton literally funded Trump's campaign. McKay slammed Joe Biden for not declaring a climate emergency when he was a lame duck president. He called Barack Obama a creep who has done damage to America, and said no group is worse than white liberals. But his biggest beef, Adam McKay's biggest beef, is that the Democratic Party and liberals have sold their souls to the oil industry and energy conglomerates at the expense of saving the world. And I just found it fascinating that we were having you on, and this has been a major story, at least in the entertainment political world, because he's not alone, right? There's just hundreds of these very influential Hollywood celebrities who don't walk the talk, obviously, right? But they constantly preach, and they're trying to shape policy and certainly indoctrinate the minds of young people who celebrate their music and their movies. And just sort of piggybacking off of Bill Gates sort of changing his tune, and the New York Times just waving the white flag. There will be elements of these people who will never let this junk science go, and the trillions and trillions of dollars in bad faith policies that come with it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jane Fonda is another great example.
Oh, my God. Now, look, I should say, Chris, I never want the audience to get it twisted. I love my job. I absolutely love getting out of the bed and covering these clowns. And the content is great. So I want them to do it. I miss Jane Fonda. What was it? The fire. Oh God, what did she did? She would fly from California to Washington D.C. No joke, to protest climate change at the nation's capital.
Yeah, yeah. She got arrested too, I think.
Yeah. Oh God. Anyway, okay. We are being joined, if you did not know, by Chris Marks. He is a meteorologist and science policy analyst at the committee.
I'm gonna go check this place out. I actually never been in here. It's very close to my house.
Fact check. Tell us all about it.
It's a late night place, and I think I'm gonna drop the dime about our bar purchase and see if I can get some support from these guys. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna end the stream though. I'm not gonna rate anybody. I don't know who's. I can't even imagine who's live right now. Nick Fuentes, maybe.
People that write for Holland also contribute, and then Sterling Burnett over there also contributes. So it's a big collaborative effort.
Unless you can find somebody that may be live, that's worth rating. I only got like 2 more rates I gotta do.
I can't take all the credit, but it's fun. It's a thing that we do, and I took over for Steve Malloy for doing this. Was a big part of it, and we do it every month.
I mean, I could have driven all the way to Reds, but this is a lot closer to home.
Air quotes around that, and just politicians and celebrities and stuff. So if there's anything good that they say, that's related to climate, that's false. So that's really juicy. I can take that and run with it and have a good counter argument to it.
I'm tired though.
That's my job as a scientist, is to be factual and objective.
Chris, if you ever have any celebrity content that I can put into a Breitbart article,
wow, look at all these cars.
To the sun comes, to the cows come home, your monthly climate fact check, I would love to do it. Just to amplify the work that you're doing, particularly when it comes to celebrities saying the craziest, most ridiculous things. Do you have some of those most asinine climate claims from this month? We're only on the 14th. Have you collected enough for May yet, or we could go back to April? I think that's the month before May. I'd love to hear some.
I haven't done any for May just yet, as far as like actually writing it down. I have stuff bookmarked, I have stuff drafted, but that's on my laptop, which is actually dead right now. I got to charge it. But for the April one, there were a few good ones. My favorite one, there was actually not a celebrity, but a politician, so kind of close enough. Sarah Daluski, she's the Secretary of State of Wisconsin, and she's running on the Democratic ticket for lieutenant governor in their upcoming race. And she went on Facebook and she posted a video. It was a short video, probably 10, 11 seconds long, and she was hysterical. And she said, quote, she said, Republicans claim climate change isn't real, but this golf ball-sized hail in my front yard, this isn't, we can't keep ignoring our environment. There was a hailstorm going on at the time. Now, some meteorologists, I know that March, April, May, early June, that's prime severe weather season, even in Wisconsin. And so I went to NOAA Storm Events Database where they have severe weather reports. And these guys,
all right, brother.
1950.
Love ya. I'm going to be live tomorrow again, too. I got stuff to do. I may even go live to do some scanning stream later. But I'm going to shut it off for now. Peace. Love you.
Good. It wasn't high resolution. It wasn't until you had the WSR 88